Welcome to Hustle Lounge. Sincere thanks to all our audience and their feedback. Your response has been so overwhelming. We hope that you're enjoying our episodes and you're gaining a lot of knowledge out of the discussions that we are having with all the hustlers on the show. In this episode of the Hustle Lounge, we are interacting with Aishwary Gupta. He is a chartered accountant and an alumni of the Indian Institute of Management, Kolkata. Aishwarya is a digital asset researcher, and his prior engagements include working with American Express, PwC, and likewise. Garima, he has a very interesting team motto. His mission with his team is to make blockchain and cryptocurrency simple for everyone to understand and onboard them on this technology. Right, so very interesting, and he has also received the Best Educator Under 30 award for this and his work on the blockchain field. So, Garima, tell our audience what's the hustle that we are talking about today.
Thanks, Anurag, for the lovely introduction and welcome, Aishwarya. The hustle that we're talking about today is time management. It just seems very, very simple, but it's surely something that a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with. And coming from someone so young, I think this will be very, very interesting to know what is Aishwarya doing about it. So to begin with, Aishwarya, in terms of time management and compartmentalization, I'm sure there are so many blogs, so many people writing about it. And, entrepreneurs often get criticized, that, oh, you're trying to do too many things. You may lose focus on your core product. Aren't you passionate enough about it? I'm sure you've heard all of that. How do you see this as lack of focus on a core product, or do you see this as a benefit?
So thank you for inviting me to the show. So basically, there are two things that you've asked for. So let's break it down into two things. The first thing is basically you're asking how do you prioritize or how do you do your work or how you manage it. It's pretty simple for me. There are two things that I usually do. One is I still have a very good love for pen and paper. All the tasks that I have to do, all the things that I have to do, all I do is basically every time I get something like I have to do this, I have to do that, I pen it down. After penning it down, the second thing that I do is when I wake up in the morning, so I usually wake up like at 5:30. And when I wake up at 5:30 is the first thing, or you can say the second thing that I would always do is like sit for 10 to 15 minutes or 20 minutes and just close my eyes. Not yoga or not meditation or something like that. I don't do all those things. But what I'll do is basically sit there for 10, 20 minutes, just see what exactly are the things that I have to deliver. And after seeing what I have to deliver, what I'll do is I'll just in my mind, I'll try to compartmentalize my day. Instead of compartmentalizing other things, I'll just compartmentalize my day. And with there, what I'll do is simply I'll see, okay, these are the tasks which even if I'm not there, can be done by someone else. If that is true, what I'll do is I'll try to give it out to my team. I'll tell them go out and do this work. If you have any problem, connect back to me. Otherwise, let's give it to you and do it. So that's the first thing that I'll do. The second thing is those things which are there for me, which I have to necessarily do it. So again, I would not go out and I would not stretch myself to the extent like if I have 10 tasks to do, I'll try to do all those 10 tasks together in one go. What I'll do is I'll basically prioritize my top 3 or top 4 tasks that I have to do. And then I'll figure out during the day at what time exactly I'll go out and I'll do that. So maybe in the morning I have one task, in the afternoon I have another one, in the evening I have another one. So that way, this is how I try to prioritize my work, and this is how I go out and do my work, and that has been working pretty well. I mean, I never lose sight of anything which I have to deliver on time and everything. So that's something which is working. Nothing else that I do. The second question that you've asked is basically how do I go out, and when you look at entrepreneurs, a lot of people tend to do a lot of things. That's true. As an entrepreneur, what you have to do is basically you have to do a lot of things because you are basically running the whole show. You're trying to do that basically. So yeah, understood. But what happens is slowly and steadily, the way to go about is there are two things. One is how much you are going out and putting those tasks and giving it out to other people. And the second is how you are embracing changes. So a lot of people feel that if I've started with one product, what I should also do is I should stick to this product and I should continue till the end. Well, that is something, maybe that's good for some people, but for most of the people, this is not good. Why? Because right now, maybe whenever you're starting your entrepreneurial journey, you don't even know whether this product is going to work or not. And just wholeheartedly just devoting everything to that, even when it's not working, because you'll feel that others have this thought process, if I don't do this, they will feel that I've lost focus, or he's just going into too many things. That's something that is something that I don't agree to. I feel that once I've started something, I'll take it to a point where I feel either that is something which has already grown, and then I'll start something else. Otherwise, in the process, when if I realize that this is something that's already there in the market, or that is not going to bring me that value that I anticipated in the start, I'll just put it out, and I'll just leave it. It's as simple as that. That my what my love is for the work that I do, the passion that I have for doing something. The love is not about basically just sticking into something even if it's not working. That's something which is where I draw a fine line, where like basically you go out and you do the work which is there, your aim which is there to make, let's say in my task, make blockchain simple. How do I do it? Not necessarily it should be only a course. It could be research, it could be giving out people some different tasks, testing, mixing, and maybe delivering the product that I want to at the end. So that's how I see it.
Wonderful. I mean, two very interesting points there showcased by Aishwarya. One is definitely the prioritization of your work and making sure what needs to be delegated to the team and the tasks that you need to take on head straight. I think that's really important. And the second point that you spoke about, in terms of cutting out the noise, not thinking about what others would feel about the kind of work that you're doing and focusing on your passion and making it work. I think really, really two gem of points discussed here. Thank you so much for that, Aishwarya. And moving ahead to, I think, in that same line, when you enter a new segment or you try to do something new, right? The barriers to that new stuff and the barriers to entry sometimes are really high. And so I want to ask you, what went through your mind when you decided that blockchain is something that you are really passionate about and this is a segment that you would like to enter and grow into?
Okay, so honestly, for this, I'll not say blockchain was something in my mind, or whether I knew blockchain is going to be very big or something like that. I was just a normal guy trying to find out something to do very good in the corporate. I just thought that if I'm able to bring in something very phenomenal to the company, or add something very big value to the company, what will happen is I would get a very good raise and I would be promoted very easily. So that was something
Okay.
that was going in my mind. Reason being, like I qualified as a chartered accountant multiple attempts, so that was something that was ongoing in my mind. I stumbled upon something, one of the product that I was working on, so one of the things that I was working with the team. So I stumbled upon one of the use cases of blockchain, which was
Okay.
cross-border payments. So there, when I started learning about it, the aim was just to provide a good solution to the company. It was not to learn blockchain. It was not to get out into the blockchain or do something like that. No, that was not there. What was there in my mind was just to deliver a good product to the company. But then later on, when I started studying, the interest that I had in that subject was something that I never knew I would have, but still it started happening. Then the second thing was like, let's go out and let's
Right.
study more about it. But when you see from a perspective of a non tech, or a non or a person who is completely not that code savvy, there was no course available there. So that was something which drove me into getting something out for the people who are into the non-tech world, who are passionate or who want to do something in this blockchain world. And because what they do is they generally go out and they generally do the courses from Coursera or any such place, and the problem that they have basically there is they won't be able to understand because of the jargons and because of the stuff that is being used there to create that content. It's very good for people who are there in the tech world, and I absolutely agree with that. But for non-tech people, it becomes a very difficult task. So that is what drove me into getting into blockchain. Then I won't lie. I said I saw huge potential out there. Even today, like what happens is the amount of opportunities that you get. Sometimes I have to say, I'm sorry, I don't have time. And this is something where you're getting a lot of work and everything. So that drove me into, and a lot of people wanting to learn about blockchain but they're not able to do it. So I saw the problem which was existing in the market, which is still there at large, which is still there. So that is something which I thought is something which I have to do in the market. I started with just basic courses. I think took like 5-6 live batches, made it better for the people to understand. And after 6 batches, I stopped like iterating it or changing the videos, doing different things so that it can become more engaging or something like that. So that was there. Then slowly and steadily after I did that, I went into I started working on research, because I knew once you study the basics, okay, I got it. Now what to do? Because you have to create a whole trajectory. You have to create a whole career path. It's not that everyone is going to do what start from the scratch, dabble into a lot of work, and then maybe come up with something. So that was something which was there in my mind. So I'm just trying to do that itself. So that is how I got into blockchain.
Thanks, Aishwarya, and that's very you're in a field where everybody is interested to know what is going on. I know we were chatting earlier, and you spoke about being young and teaching the rest of the world, teaching head honchos and corporates. Everybody wants to understand blockchain, and you did go through a bit of struggle, if I may say so, or a hustle, if I may call it, initially. How did you overcome that barrier, and how did you let your knowledge surpass all of these noise that you were facing?
I mean, what I'll say here is it was not the small but the biggest hustle for me, to make those people believe that okay, I'm a 27-year or I'm a 28-year-old guy, and I have the knowledge that I can help you with, and I can make you understand blockchain. The moment I would go out and would say let's take a session on blockchain, so the youngsters are very much enthusiastic about it. They would want to come and learn about it. They would want to get into all those things. But the people who are at eminent places, like I remember a lot of them started when I started. A few of my even work colleagues were like, they made fun of me, like, Aishwarya, this is not something that you should be doing. You're too young for for the work that you're doing and all those things. And I said the blockchain industry is also young. It's just like 3 years, 4 years down the line, which it has evolved. So I'm not late. I'm very much early, and this is something like the only thing that I did was I just maintained that consistency. So a lot of people would just get disheartened. It was to that height where you get disheartened basically. A lot of people, senior people, I would literally see a lot of my senior professionals talking about blockchain, knowing nothing about it. And on the other hand, I would just be a listener, because the moment I approach these people saying that let me do it, they would like, Aishwarya, you're too young for that. So that was there. That was a fair game. I think maybe most probably because they felt that this is something that they should be handling and everything. But ultimately, the thing is that once you get that knowledge, once you get that, then you get that confidence into you that would not be shaken very easily by anyone and everyone just coming in and saying, Aishwarya, you're too young. So that was something which I worked on. I just kept on working on my knowledge as to how more I can learn today. I can proudly say that I'm among those few people who could, in the finance industry, who could understand blockchain and who are doing pretty well in the industry. So that was there. But the more and more I got involved in the projects, the more and more people saw my work, the more and more they saw keep I'm being heard, a lot of people are following me and something like that. Most probably till today, I would say like 80% of that is gone, where those people who used to say, hey, you're just a 27-year-old kid. But now what they see is they see someone who has the knowledge, who's ready to connect one-on-one, tell you what the solutions are. So today when I consult corporates also, sometimes they don't think about this, but yeah, there's still like 20% of them who are still of this thought process. I mean, I can just quote one example, which is like once I was giving like a very senior professional group the knowledge of blockchain, and people would want to ask me questions, but I literally saw 2 3 people just change their names in for the sake of asking questions, because they were like, how can I be someone with a 40 years plus experience asking a 27-year-old guy? So that is still there in the society, and I think it's not just for blockchain, it's for the whole society, that I would say that people are like, why should I learn from someone who is a junior for me? But I most of my learning is from people who are younger than me. I can proudly say that. I mean, some of the people are like 20 years, 21 years, 24 years, that's it. But that is something that is all about blockchain. You learn from people who have the knowledge. It's not about the age game.
Yeah. In fact, it's so interesting that you shared this experience, and just for the sake of our listeners, and you are in an industry which is booming. EdTech has given so many opportunities in the last couple of years, and you're right. I think we all grew up with the mindset of a certain age group and
Yeah.
education. And even when we were studying MBA, I think to be a visiting faculty or one of those goals were very far-fetched, 10, 15 years experience, and then we'll do something. I don't think as young, 20 something, one would aspire. But of course, the industry is booming. There are people like you who are changing the game. There's so many people who would be very passionate about education in general. Do you have any, I don't know, do you have any core tips to give them? Did maybe, would starting a channel that you can share, like you did, a podcast or a YouTube channel, do things like these add as proof of concept for young entrepreneurs like you to gain that kind of confidence, or to showcase your skills to other people in the industry? Do you have any such interesting tips, if for the sake of our listeners, because I'm sure it's an industry that everybody is interested in today?
Hmm.
See, one thing that I have personally felt is a lot of people who want to go out and create content, they are waiting for perfection. They're waiting so that they would get that one perfect video before they publish it. And that is where 90% of the people or 80% of the people are stuck. They are waiting for
Fantastic.
perfection. That is
Absolutely.
the biggest problem that is out there. Why? Because people have the talent, people have the knowledge. I mean, I remember the first video that I made. I was just like sleeping
Hmm.
at night, and in the morning I thought like, let's make a video. And I just wanted to make a video for mentoring people or how to learn English. That was my aim. So I just got up, I took a bath. I did not have any apparatus or anything like that. I just held my phone on in your selfie mode, and I was like just recording in front of that. And I don't remember the quality, but I still remember the numbness that I had in my mind. And I think I cannot explain that, but it was like a good amount of fear that was there, how people will judge me or something like that. But I said, let's do it. People are gonna laugh. That's it. That's the max that can happen, and it's okay. I'm fine with that. That is the point. Which when I made the first video, it had no background, no professional, nothing professional at all. But yeah, that was my first try, and from that I got a lot of confidence. Then yeah, slowly and steadily the quality of videos got improved and everything. But that is where you have to understand that you have to start something. Just do it. It does. Nobody cares about you getting a bad video as long as your messages are clear. If your messages are clear, people will still listen to whatever video, whatever pixels that you have. It does not matter. But start something.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe in that theory that, getting done is way better than getting it perfect. And I always say to myself, you just gotta press record, just hit that button and just do it. Because at the end of the day, your first video, your first podcast, your first, Instagram reel, whatever you are creating will never be perfect, and you will always judge yourself. Like I still judge myself when I put out any video or any content out. I am very critical as to what I'm putting out. But I think even in the early stages, I was like that. I'll re-record unless and until I find that sweet spot where I want to release something. But now I've like gone past that stage, and a lot of the entrepreneurs and young creators are still stuck where they feel that, oh, this is not good enough for the internet. But I think you have to figure a way around it and just release that content that you have in your mind. So lovely. I think that's a pro tip there, guys. So definitely, if you have anything in your mind, go record it, release it, tag Aishwarya, tag us, and you tell us that this is what you did, and you did it after listening to
Absolutely.
this podcast. We would love to reshare whatever you shared on the internet, right? So we would love that.
Absolutely. I mean, I would also love it. I would share it on my channels and everything wherever I can. I would love you all to do that.
Wonderful. You get free press, you get free marketing points from us. So do that, guys. We would love to see the kind of content you were thinking of in your mind and you have released it after watching this podcast. We would love to see that. Moving ahead, you spoke about how in organizations now people are slowly opening up to blockchain, they're opening up to cryptocurrencies. And you have seen the rise of Polygon Matic. And in fact, EY now has entered the game, and they have now incorporated, they are planning to tap into the Polygon for their better Ethereum solutions, right? For their scalability. Now, even EY is into the game. So you have seen Polygon, the rise of Polygon. You have closely monitored it in the earlier days. What do you think are the next polygons from the Indian blockchain space?
I mean, a lot of projects have started to come into the picture. One of the project that I basically love is also Unilend, Unilend, Unilend. It's a platform for decentralized finance. So, for example, you want to take out loans against crypto, you want to give out loans, you want to lend your cryptos for certain amount of interest. So that is something that I personally love as a project. Again, Polygon is also something which you have not missed the bus. I would still say that there is a star here. Basically, I might have by the time we go live or we publish this, we might have some. I might be directly connected with Polygon. So, but yeah, I still feel that this project is yet to take a lot more into it. A lot more things are going to be built on it, and that's so. Still, it's not something which is a bus missed. Both these projects are something which in India I feel personally are something which are good. There are like a lot of projects, but these are the two which I still love, and which I still feel that this is something which is going to be very big in the future.
Fantastic, fantastic. And do you think, and of course, like we've whatever we know of blockchain and what we've understood from you also from your content and conversations, are there policies which are roadblock? Is the infrastructure okay for now? If you had, what are your thoughts there? And if you had any suggestions that you could make to the government of India, to the GOI, what would those be?
Okay. So again, two questions. The first is as per the infrastructure and the environment. See, Indian ecosystem has been something which was very good in 2017-18. I would say we were just trying to be the front runners of everything. We had exchanges who were going to be the top 10 and everything, and the regulations came in and stifled all those things. So that was something where all those growth and innovation went and took a downhill, because most of the developers and most of the people who were involved in it, they thought, what if tomorrow again the same thing happens and again we devote 2 3 years? So this is again one of the fear that a lot of people right now have in their mind. So even if they want to go out and build for India, they don't have that trust, that most probably later on if something happens to the and the Indian government comes out with something, what will they do? So that is one fear that people have in their mind, which is not letting the ecosystem grow that much that it should. But on the other side, I am seeing that a lot of film stars, a lot of people, a lot of celebrities are endorsing cryptocurrencies today. Maybe they are paid partnerships, but again, they are discussing about it, they're talking about it, which means that it has gone mainstream. So yes, I would say that infrastructure will build up, but as soon as we get more regulatory clarity, this would be something which would give a really very big boost. There are, I mean, on the regulatory side, I do interact with a lot of people from the ministry, from our bank, which is RBI, the central bank, and there are basically a lot of mixed emotions there. A lot of people think that their complete cryptocurrencies or blockchain is something which is useless. I mean, they would say blockchain is better, but cryptocurrency is not, while they don't realize that they both are very much interrelated to each other. And this is something that people don't understand. EY is also the collaboration that EY went ahead and did. That was just a proof that it's not about just the pricing of the cryptocurrency, but it's about the product that you're building. So this is something which is there. So one thing that I would love the government to do is bring out a policy, let it go out. And when you are bringing out that policy, just consult the people who are there in the industry. Last time in 2018, when this bill and everything that got introduced, or the bill that was proposed to be introduced, that was like completely not at all discussed with the industry at all. And it was like it had so stringent rules and regulations that would stifle the whole growth of the industry altogether. Now, that is something that we would not want. Why? Because technologically, though our payment systems are very good, I would say the fintechs have done absolutely amazing there, but there are a lot of things that you have to still do. And because of that, I think once the regulation, until and unless the regulations are not clear, most of these companies are registering themselves in Singapore. So you can say that these are being run by Indians, but they are not Indian companies at all. So once you go out, you consult the people that are out there who are working into the industry, who have an experience, not those people who just are in the ministry or just around you because they are a part of your government, or they're a part of whatever. But don't do that. Try to get into those people, or try to understand it from those people who have the knowledge, who have the understanding as to what this industry is, and then create a regulation. Maybe if there is too much fear that they can cryptocurrencies or blockchain are not that good, try to create sandboxes let those sandboxes run for 6 months, 10 months, see their growth, see how they can implement or how they can improve the overall infrastructure of India, and then take a call instead of just listening to 10 people or 12 people just who are there around you and what they think about it. 99% of the people have literally no understanding about how these things work, and then taking an advice from someone who is not having the knowledge is something I would personally not want the government to do. So just that's one suggestion. And second is, whenever you're making the regulations, just bring out those regulations, because the more we are waiting, the more other countries are developing, because they are not stopping. And here a lot of talent which is out there, they're just waiting for that regulation to come in. And no matter what it is, let just bring it out so that people can understand it. And also I would urge the government not to get too much stringent on these laws, because that would completely again derail the whole industry that is again picking up in India. So I think that's the advice.
Fantastic. That's really nice. And I see that whether it's posting your first video on Instagram or YouTube or going live with a policy, I think that get out with it and let people digest that is your mantra, which is fantastic. And absolutely agree with you in terms of creating a body of knowledge experts when you're working on these policies, because in general the knowledge about blockchain or cryptocurrency across board is very very low. But I'm sure for all those listening in, which includes me, we have so much to learn from you, and we'll surely follow you and take all the notes and everything that we can learn on blockchain and crypto. I think you're absolutely the perfect person. So nice to have interacted with you today, Aishwarya. It's been a really nice chat.
For sure, for sure. And guys, will definitely put all the links that you need to go and follow of Aishwarya, his LinkedIn profile, his YouTube channel. We'll put the links in the show notes below. So go and check them out. Go follow him. And if you have any questions regarding blockchain, cryptocurrency, or how much play money you need to have for crypto, go ask him. And he's the guy for you. And yeah, I mean, you can reach out to us as well, and we'll help you get those questions answered. So with that, it has been a lovely chat, Aishwarya, and we would love to have you again on the show in the future to discuss more about cryptocurrency, and if there are any more advancements where you are gonna be our go-to guy. So thank you so much for being on the Hustle Lounge today. We have had a lovely chat. Thank you.
Thank you so much for hosting me. It was lovely talking to you all. Thank you.
So thank you all for tuning in today. Please do reach out to us at hustlelounge@sociallydesi.com for any suggestions, feedback, and collaborations that you may have in mind. See you next Tuesday, and keep hustling.